Hey there clans, God's182 here and welcome to another WION review, which stands for Worth or Not, and I'm here to answer the simple question: is the Mass Effect 3 DLC Citadel worth it or not? No idea why I done worth it or not. Just felt like it. But yeah. For those that don't know, I have done a full let's play of this DLC. If you want to go and check it out, there's an annotation on screen somewhere where I can be asked putting it, and you can go and check out the full playlist. It's about 11 parts, so feel free to go check it out. But yeah, if you don't get, if you want here. It's gonna have well into it. But yeah, I'm here to review the final DLC for Mass Effect 3 and the final DLC for Shepard's story. It's a sad day, unfortunately, but really, as it is, I'm going to try to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible. I will, towards the end, maybe talk a wee bit more. I'm going to save quite a lot for a Mass Effect Reflections video, which I'm going to do, a Warriors Reflection, where I'm going to talk about the series as a whole. But yeah. What's the story of this DLC? Well, I'm just wrapping over here. Someone has been stealing information about Commander Shepard, almost everything from the Citadel archives. And your job as Commander Shepard is to figure out who the hell it is and stop them. And also find out why they're doing it. There's a nice wee twist. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will spoil it in the other video. But that's sort of like the side story, actually. The main story is actually that you're on shore leave. You actually get a message from Admiral Hackett who basically says, dude, you need a fucking break, go take a vacation. Anderson's left you his place, I've got the keys right here. Not like that, but that in a nutshell. You also get quite an emotional scene with Anderson as he tells you he's leaving you his place because he doesn't want to leave Earth, and the fact that he's kind of stuck on there with the Reapers, but that's beside the point. And really, this DLC is a blatant fan service DLC. There's no escaping it. The trailer alone kind of tells that, and in my opinion, it's absolutely glorious for that. It is more of a goodbye and a little swan song to the story of Shepard, basically, and his story in the Mass Effect series. And it's absolutely brilliant in my opinion. I loved every minute of this DLC. There wasn't a point in the DLC, if you watch my Let's Play, that I wasn't either laughing or feeling very nostalgic at the same time. The DLC is roughly 46 hours long, so it goes. But that, as it is, the main point of this DLC is fan service. There's little references here and there to almost all the Mass Effect games, and you also get a nice wee short scene. Roughly, it could range anywhere between 2 to maybe 5 minutes, even multiple scenes with various crew members as you sit down and talk to them about themselves. It's literally, there's no big bad after they beat the main. After you beat like the main, you can do as long as you want. There's no big bad. It's just you and your Shepard and his friends, or in my case, my Shepard's crew is his family, and you're just sitting there and you're talking and laughing about the good old days and having a good old time and doing stupid stuff as everything else, whether it be going on a nice wee joyride with Cortez, sitting watching a fucking a fleet and flotilla with Tali, which was a series that was referenced in Mass Effect quite a few times. You sit there with Tali and watching. If you do a romance, she sits there and sings to you. Talking to Garrus about the good old days. If you romance Garrus, it's a really emotional scene, also quite a funny scene as he does the tango with you. If you don't, you kind of help him hook up with a nearby female Turian. Get a chance to Rex, Grunt, Samara, a funeral for Thane, which is one of the best scenes in the DLC in my opinion. Liara, Javik, Trainer, even Zaid is in this DLC, which is a very nice thing due to the fact that his voice actor, Rao, I'm so sorry I forgot his name, I do apologise, but the voice actor that done Zaid, in fact, it's going to bug me if I don't find out, so I do apologise when I find out, as I feel like I'm disrespecting if I don't. So voice of Zaid Masani, Robin Sachs, Robin Sachs, who voiced Zaid, but he was also in the TV series Buffy, passed away last month, so this was actually his final performance that he recorded. It was nice seeing that, and I did get a little emotional with that. As I said, there was spoil anything else I said, but it's a blatant fan service DLC in my opinion, and it just makes so many references. You get even mind a spoiler here, but when you're with Javik, you actually get to meet Blasto, the Hanar Spectre. I shit you not, you do get to meet him, which is something that the Mass Effect fans have wanted for a long ass time, and we finally get to meet him face to face or face to tentacle. Yeah. And also, it's with my Shepard, it was Mark Meer acting with Mark Meer, and there was a Watcher there, and Mark Meer does the voices for Watcher acting with Mark Meer. Mind blowing. But yeah, that's what this DLC is primarily about. It's a blatant fan service DLC. And I can answer the worth it or not right now. Like, if you're a hardcore Mass Effect fan and you want a nice experience with a nice wee goodbye to the series and you want to have some time with your crew members on there, it's worth every penny of it, in my opinion. But as I say, it's a fan service DLC, and if you don't like fan service, you can kind of skip this DLC. I can see how people might not like this DLC due to the fact that the so-called main story with someone tries to steal Shepard's identity is a bit lackluster. It's okay. It's not the best in the series. It's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. It is funny, and also the main story does kind of give a little punch or two towards some things that Shepard says. Like the main antagonist makes fun of "I should go," which is kind of funny. I don't want to say why, but and it's got a nice wee twist. I'm not gonna lie. But it's overall it's okay. But as it says, even the main story is blatant fan service. So the DLC in a nutshell is this Citadel is fan service, which I loved. I loved every minute of it, I'm not going to lie. And I can say it's worth it if you're a fan of the series and you've been playing it since the start and you enjoyed every minute of it and you want a good laugh and get to see all your friends and the crew in ridiculous situations. And also just have a quiet time. Like, when you're just sitting there, there's no big bad. You can almost forget about the Reapers, in my opinion. So, as I say, if you're a massive fan, you want some basic, pure, unadulterated fan service, go buy this DLC right now. It's worth every penny of it. But as I say, if you're not into fan service, you'll probably just give it a skip. Now that's really the end of the review, but I want to discuss the DLC a wee bit, and I don't really want to discuss it in the reflection videos I'm going to do, because I was so advanced warning from this point on there's going to be spoilers. I do apologise for that. Okay. Firstly, I'm going to get this out there. The price point of this DLC is about 1,200 megabytes. I think it's a bit steep, I'm going to be honest. For me, I loved every minute, so I got my bonus with it, but I really think this is an 800 megabyte DLC, but as I say, the fan service for me made it up for me, so bit point. I want to say right now, BioWare, hopefully you fix it in the future where you try and reduce the prices of your DLC. I know it's probably EA, but please try and grow some balls. That's another wee thing. But I'm going to be honest, like, I know a lot of people are going to ask me this. I can guarantee if I had one or two people ask me this, does this DLC help with the ending? Like, as it doesn't change the ending. Here's how I see it. Shore Leave, Citadel DLC, that's my ending. Like, I'm going to be honest, the DLC still has a bit of a vibe that it was cut from the main game. I know it's been over a year. In fact, it's been 1 year to date since Mass Effect came out. I still think that all the DLCs that have came out just feel like DLCs that were cut from the cloth, or literally cut from the game and sold off. Like, I honestly think Mass Effect 3 was meant to come out this year and not last year, because the amount of the DLCs that came out just feel like they've been cut from the game, I'm going to be honest. Just for me personally, like, the Citadel DLC feels like something that should have been in the game from the very start. A time where you get to go and relax with your friends and comrades and just sit there and talk with them. Now, I'm going to be honest, I would have preferred if this DLC was a ending DLC. Like, I'm going to be honest, I still hate the ending. I always will hate the ending, but if the ending was different, say, like, this is what I think the ending should have been if you got all the war assets, done the stupid multiplayer, basically did everything you could, and the Shore Leave Van should have been the best ending in my opinion. This should have been the best ending in the game, where after you beat the Reapers, you go on Shore Leave with your crew and just go in the Citadel. And yes, I know the Citadel gets blown up, but in my ending it doesn't. Different thing, I'll talk about it later. But this just feels like this should have been at the end. This should have been where all of your crew just went to Anderson's place, you toasted to him, he's had a party, and you've relaxed and enjoyed yourselves. You go to sit down and talk. That's what this DLC feels to me, I'm going to be honest. But it doesn't bother me that much. It's still a fantastic DLC and a nice little send-off to the Mass Effect series. As I say, it still feels like it's cut from the game. I honestly don't. All the DLCs feel like that to me. I'm sorry. I wouldn't say if I didn't feel it, but it just does. But that being said, I still love the DLC, and for me personally, this is where my Shepard story ends. He does, like, as it says, the ending is completely. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But this is where my Shepard story ends. The Shore Leave It DLC, Citadel, is where my Shepard story ends. Doesn't continue beyond that point. It's a shame, but I still think the DLC is fantastic. I loved every minute of it. Just sitting there talking with your friends, getting Rex there, getting Samara, having an absolute ball. And spoiler alert, of course, the clone thing, while it was kind of cliche, yes, it turns out, Shepard, you get a clone in this. The clone fucking takes the piss out of Shepard. Like, literally, he ends up taking it towards like the midpoint of the DLC where the twist comes out. He basically makes fun and says, "I should go." And I pissed myself laughing at that. And Shepard's just like, "Do I really sound like that?" And I had Rex with me at that point. And he was going, "I thought it was, yeah, I thought it was just some strange human. I thought it was some strange human custom." I laughed my ass off for that bit. I could not stop laughing. I gotta give props to BioWare. Fantastic job. I absolutely love the DLC, even though it does feel like it was cut. It really was just exactly what I expected it to be, which was nothing but pure unadulterated fan service, and I loved every minute of it. Would I have liked some things better in it? I'm going to be honest. Like, would I like maybe a couple more familiar faces showing up in the DLC? Like Dr. Chakwas unfortunately doesn't show up. That would have been nice if you could see her. Maybe some non-squad mate characters would have been nice. Maybe we could have seen Shiala. Maybe we could have seen. Well, we get to see the consort. We get to see her. I'd like to, if we get to see a few more familiar faces, but as I say, the main focus was the crew. And maybe a bit longer I would have liked. I would like if there was maybe a bit more of an emphasis on certain scenes with certain crew members. I would have liked that. That would have been awesome. Was there anything else? I don't think I got to say. Like, the DLC is blatant fan service. That's what I've got to say on it. I would say if you have picked it up and you're a fan, pick it up. It's worth it. So, well done BioWare, a nice wee send off, and I'll have my eye teared up at the end. So that's my review in a nutshell. I don't want to say anything more. I want to talk about Mass Effect in general in my Warriors Reflections, which will be up shortly. But yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say about it besides thank you. It's been a nice journey. So, is the Citadel DLC worth it? If you love fan service, it's worth every penny. Thank you for watching. As always, I'm Scottish Warren 82, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now.